Much ado has been made as of late about how I've changed over the course of the last few years. In light of this fact, I have decided to do a small series of videos wherein I express my current attitudes towards various subjects that I have addressed in the past. Today, we will talk about libertarianism. When I joined YouTube many eons ago, I considered myself a right-wing libertarian. I believed that free market capitalism was indeed the best means of ensuring a prosperous society, and that those who failed to prosper within such a society were in some way defective. I also believed that any attempt to create fairness in society would result in a nightmarish dystopia where entrepreneurial genius was ignored or crushed, and laborers were transformed into indolent layabouts who produce nothing. Many of the most hyperbolic arguments right-wingers make against any form of socialistic thought, is that they have their genesis in the writings of Ayn Rand, I read Ayn Rand at the age of 17. And she had given me exactly what I was looking for at the time, a means of philosophically justifying my own massive ego. In fact, it was a collection of her writings entitled The Virtue of Selfishness that initially captivated me. I was a socially alienated and awkward 17-year-old boy with a rich daddy who had just found a philosopher of not insignificant cultural impact. What did Ayn Rand say to me? She said to me that selfishness, greed, and a willingness to exploit others for profit were all great and wonderful virtues. She taught that people with wealth were superior, a superior breed of human being, worthy of worship. She taught that the poor and the working class were disgusting parasites whose only real use or function was to serve their betters. Ayn Rand was the glorification of everything base and cruel and loathsome in the human spirit. She was the unrestrained id of capitalism, loving only wealth and the wealthy, but despising most of humankind, despising compassion, despising empathy, generosity, charity, and any other feeling or institution that asked one person to care about another. Although Ayn Rand herself hated the Libertarian Party, there's no ideological difference between their platform and the tenets of Rand's philosophy of objectivism. When it comes to this selfish line of thinking, whether it's called libertarianism or objectivism or laissez-faire capitalism or whatever label you want to slap on it, here's what I say about it. I understand fully why I, as a teenage boy with a superiority complex, looking for his place in the world, gravitated towards this ideology. But what I cannot understand for the life of me is how any grown adult of apparently sound mind, could embrace this cruel ethos as if it represents any sort of desirable path forward for our species. To believe that some controlled form of capitalism can exist within a prosperous society is a proposition that I find to be intellectually defensible. But the notion that free market capitalism should be the driving force behind all of society and that everything should be commodified and privatized under such a structure is a heavyweight contender in my mind for the worst idea of all time. And none who espouse it should be taken remotely seriously in mainstream political discourse. I know that many libertarians are simply well-meaning people who want the government to leave them alone. I think that impulse has merit, but we have to think on how we do it, because if you think the United States of America sucks sometimes, just imagine living in the United States of Amazon with Jeff Bezos as emperor for life. Not many libertarians want that future. They just want to not have to pay taxes and to be able to do whatever I want, as long as I'm not messing with nobody else. But the stuff they defend ultimately results in the United States of Amazon, Jeff Bezos emperor. Let's just be clear. The means by which they want to accomplish their goals, in my estimation, result in the further codification of the plutonomy. Now, Once again, as I conclude all these videos, I do ask that if you disagree with what I've said here, please remember the purpose of these videos is simply to express my current attitudes towards various subjects that pertain to this channel. I am not attempting at this time to make any sort of argument. I am merely communicating to you my current attitude on this subject at hand. Regardless of how you feel about my words, I do thank you kindly for taking the time to listen to them. And please check out the links in the description section down below. Please subscribe to this channel. Please consider supporting my Patreon, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Have a good one, y'all.